Welcome to Growth Moments from Franklin Road Baptist Church. Before we get to the main content, please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you can be notified whenever we release new content in the future. If you're watching on social media, be sure to like, follow, and share as well. Thanks for joining us as we present today's Growth Moment.
Hey, and welcome to another Growth Moment. Today we are going to be talking about how should a Christian evaluate their digital media. How should a Christian evaluate their digital media? Obviously, digital media and social media are huge drivers in today's world. Most of your news, most of the information that you receive in a day's time comes from some sort of digital media. And so it is really a part of our lives, whether we want it to be or not. But as children of God, we should have a different and unique perspective to social media. Many of us have already kind of dived into the world of digital media and the world of social media, and maybe not in a way to where we even know why we're in that space. And so today is all about evaluating how we use our digital media as a Christian. And so the verse that we're going to use is one from Ecclesiastes chapter number 12, verses 13 and 14. I love these verses in regards to digital media because it really gives us a couple of perspectives from both our side and from God's side. And so I want us to look at verse number 13 of Ecclesiastes chapter number 12, where the Bible says this: "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil." Just out of those verses, when you take that and you apply it to digital media, what you'll find is that there's a lot of great principles in there. One of them is consider the conclusion of the whole matter. You know, unfortunately, we did not get an opportunity to look at the end of social media. We probably, if we could have fast forwarded 10, 15 years when all of this came out, I don't know that anyone would have guessed that we would be where we are today. And so we didn't get to consider the conclusion of the whole matter. But then God also says to keep His commandments and to fear Him, and that the whole duty of man is for us to do those two things. And our social media and our digital media and what we consume and what we put out should reflect that. But then it also says something interesting in verse number 14. It says, "For God shall bring every work into judgment." What you post will be judged. What you see will be judged eventually one day by God. With every secret thing, no matter if you do it publicly or you do it privately, every secret thing will be judged. And then it says whether it be good or whether it be evil. And so for us as Christians, if we're going to be different, it means that we're not going to be able to fall into the trap of the way that the world does digital media. And so I want to give you 3 evaluations and then close with just a couple things to consider that I think will be able to be a help with you. The first one is to evaluate your intake. Evaluate your intake. Obviously, we understand that most of us are content consumers. We see things, we see television shows, we see commercials, we see social media posts, we see billboards as we drive. We are content consumers. And so each of us have a certain level of media and digital media that we are taking in. And so here's 3 questions that you can ask in regards to your intake. First of all, is there anything sinful? Is there anything sinful? Obviously, a child of God should not be partaking in something that is sinful. If there are things that are coming across your eyes or coming in through your ear gate, or even things that you are maybe going and searching for, if there is anything sinful, then we would all probably agree that those need to be taken care of first. And so your intake, evaluate your intake. Is there anything sinful? Secondly, is there anything harmful? Is there anything harmful? When we talk about something that is harmful, what we're talking about is not necessarily something that is sinful, but it is something that harms your Christian life. It maybe harms your spirit. If your social media and your digital media consumption is overly critical, if maybe it is driving fear and worry in your life and causing you to trust God less, then those are harmful things. If it's causing you to maybe be prideful, if it's causing you to be discontent with the life that God has given you, then those are harmful areas. We would all probably look back 10, 15, 20 years ago, and when you look back on those time frames and those ages, I kind of grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. I don't know that I ever remember anyone remodeling their house to bring it up to date. I can remember people adding on rooms. I can remember people expanding maybe a bathroom or making room for a closet, but no one was really just taking on these big remodeling projects just because they wanted to bring something up to date. Fast forward now, and it seems like that you can't go anywhere without seeing a house that is perfectly decorated and has shiplap on the walls and is something to where it just has this peaceful look about it. And so now you can't go anywhere without being discontent with possibly what you have. Sometimes social media has a way of causing us to compare ourselves with others, which the Bible says is unwise. Someone once said that comparison is the thief of joy. And so if discontentment is building up in your life as a result of social media, then you should see that as harmful and eliminate it from your media accounts. And then thirdly is this: is there anything helpful? Is there anything helpful? Many times we enter into the space of media, and whether it be TV or whether it be social media or whether it be maybe a book or a magazine or whatever source of media you consume, we enter into those things not necessarily thinking about it adding value to our lives. And if you can scroll through an account, or if you can sit down and watch a couple of hours of TV and it doesn't do anything to add value to your spiritual life, to your physical life, to your emotional and relational life, then you have found a way to really not have anything helpful in media. And so the first thing is to evaluate your intake. Is there anything sinful? Is there anything harmful? Is there anything helpful? And then secondly is this: not only should we evaluate our intake, but we should evaluate our output.
Thanks again for joining us for Growth Moments, which is a production of Franklin Road Baptist Church. We'd love to have you as our honored guest for one of our weekly services. Visit frbc.com to learn more about our church and all the ways we can connect with you. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.